Hi, I'm Remington, and I'm here with Coach Bowles and Coach Niehaus, and I'm going to be asking them about this season. My first question is for Mr. Bowles. Coach Bowles, what are you looking forward to this season?
I'd say the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to this season is, in year 2, just for a lot of improvement. We kind of know the system now, which practices have been a lot better because of that. We're able to get more things in, and just looking forward to see the improvement throughout the season.
How important is it for your guys' players to lead in the classroom?
Oh, it's the most important thing. That's one thing that we talk about, being a student athlete first. You got to be a student first and then an athlete second. And we think that kind of goes hand in hand. I think if you look at teams that are at the end winning state championships, a lot of times those guys are great students as well. So I think it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I would agree 100% with Coach. I had many, many years in the classroom teaching, and I know that when kids are good students and they participate, it just gives you a better feeling about the kids. And, we sure want our teachers and our whole school community to look at our kids or our students as, good citizens of the school. And so I agree with Coach. I think it's very important.
Ms. Niehaus, how do you feel about some of the games already?
Well, I think we got off to a pretty good start. We started the season a little bit behind most of the teams on our schedule because our volleyball team won the sectional, competed in regional, so that set us up behind, about a week and a half as far as practice time with our entire team. But the kids responded well. When we did play our first game, I thought we were ready, and it's kind of like Coach said, we have a lot of experience back from last year, so the initial practices maybe aren't as critical or crucial as they would be, when you have kids coming back who kind of know what the expectations are and how we want to play. So we're 3-1 right now. Feel like we got off to a pretty good start, and looking forward to keep things rolling.
How important is your guys' players to be there on the bench watching the game?
Oh, I think there's a lot of importance in that. We're very excited this season. We've got about 23 guys out for basketball, which allows us to have a C team. We've got a good freshman group, that we got a lot of them, and we got a lot of good talent out of it. But one thing that I think that would help them is just some basketball IQ. And I think for them being able to watch a little bit in practice, then go do the skill, go perform, I think will help them get better. I also think them, once the game starts, being able to watch and kind of seeing that speed, whether it be at the JV level or the varsity level, that's only going to make them better.
Yeah, I agree with Coach, but and I would also add that our kids on our bench have to be ready to go. We use our bench. We need everybody we have to be ready and to step up when it's their time to fill the roles that we need filled.
What are your guys' philosophy of coaching this year?
Kind of depends on what team you have. Coach Niehaus has been doing this a long time, and I'm sure she's had teams where she coached differently, than maybe this year's team. So you just kind of got to get the chemistry of your team, how they react, and that's kind of the way you got to coach. In high school we don't recruit our players, so they give us the cards, and then we got to kind of match it up and find out what they do well, what they respond well to, and that's the biggest thing. I think as a coach you always got to evolve with your team.
Yeah, there are some things I think are constant. No matter what year it is, you're going to have those expectations and have that philosophy as far as how you coach. And one of the things that I've always tried to emphasize is that we work as hard as we can, every day, and whatever happens. So I think that's always going to be a big part of my philosophy, that I want us to be a team, and that sometimes is harder than other years. Coach talked about changing from year to year. But the ultimate goal is for us to learn and to learn how to work together, and I think there's no greater thing that can be achieved from high school sports than the feeling of team and learning what it's like to work together to achieve a goal.
So what player do you guys think will improve the most on your guys' team?
I mean, for us, we got a lot of guys. I mean, we're going to depend on a 8 to 10 guys, at the varsity level, and our JV is going to be the same. So, I mean, the hope is that we have multiple guys, get better and better. I thought, looking back to last season, pretty much all the returners, they got a little bit better as the season went. One guy that probably sticks out to everybody's mind, and maybe his name wasn't in the paper all the time, was Elijah Dixon. I thought he did a great job, at rebounding, making all the hustle plays, deflections, things like that. So we're kind of looking for the next guy. But, I mean, I could go down the line of guys that are returning seniors who got a lot better. And, for those seniors, the biggest thing for them is now they're in the leadership role. A lot of them got to play varsity as sophomores. They all got to play varsity as juniors last year. So now it's their turn to lead. So that would be the biggest thing we look for them to improve on.
Yeah, I think seeing kids improve is one of the cool things about coaching and teaching. Watching that improvement, from the beginning of the season to the end of the season or over the course of a player's career. I also like to throw out one name. I think that in the course of her 4-year career as a high school player, Haley Wilson has really improved dramatically. And, I think a lot of our kids have, but I did want to note that because it's been a big help for us this season.
During practice, how do you guys convey your energy towards the players?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a firm believer that your players are going to kind of feed off your energy. If you come into practice and, you can't fake it to kids. They know if you want to be here or not. So I think that's a big thing. I always try to have a high energy. That's just me, be myself. And hopefully, we can get the team to rally around that. But ultimately, what makes a good team is if you can get players to create their own energy, without a coach, those are the teams that set apart from good to great teams, player-led teams, so to speak. So that's what I just try to come in. I love what I do. I have a great passion for it, and hopefully that feeds to the players.
Well, I'm just glad that Coach and I agree on so many things. You got a good philosophy, Coach. I'm proud of you. I agree, and I think, I'm not afraid to yell. I'll yell. I think it's a good motivational tool, and I think that, sometimes players need that. And, we always demand a lot of energy from ourselves and from our kids.
If you guys had to teach your players something other than basketball, what would you teach?
I'll tell you what, not that I know a lot about it, Remy, but just because I feel like football is a sport where you need a high energy, I always thought it was kind of cool on the sidelines. Like I've always thought if I ever get done with basketball, I'd like to just be like the weight training hype man you see on colleges. I don't know that I'd be quite as ripped as those dudes are, but just I think it'd be fun to have guys coming off the sideline, chest bumping them and smacking them in the back of the head on the helmet, just hyping them up. I think that would be fun, but football, I guess, would be the other sport.
Okay, well, we finally got something I don't agree with Coach on. I spent many, many years teaching history, and I always enjoyed it. I enjoyed the subject, and I enjoyed teaching it. And so, that would probably be what I would go back to if it weren't for basketball.
What do you guys do to motivate your team during games?
During games, I think it depends on what they need. Like I said before, I think it depends on how your team chemistry is. But heck, I do just about anything, if I had to do a skit or, just about anything, tell a story. I guess that would be the way to motivate. And like Coach said, every once in a while you got to raise your voice and, maybe call timeout and do a little bit of yelling. My big thing is with that, though, and I think Coach does a good job at, yelling works if you also, after that, you love on your kids. And if they know that you love them, then that's going to be a lot of motivation for them.
Right, I agree, Coach, that kids knowing that you care is a big part of what motivates them. I think that for whatever reason, kids care what the coach thinks, and they often respond to the knowledge that you care about them as individuals, and obviously that you care about the team. So, I'm maybe not as much of a rah-rah person, or probably would not put on a skit, but I think that most of the time we know what buttons need to be pushed and trying to get the job done.
What have you guys done to improve your team from last year to this year?
I tell you one thing that really helped us, and it wasn't really anybody's fault, was just getting the summer with our guys, kind of back to a normal season. Last year we weren't allowed to do anything in the summer. And for me, I got hired late, so I wasn't able to meet these guys until school started. So just being able to be around them, have one season with them, have a summer with them, I think is really going to be beneficial for us improving.
Yeah, the summer is a big deal. Even if you don't put a ton of time in, just having, a little time to have your seniors are gone, you got some new kids stepping up, trying to figure out how that's going to work, with the new pieces of the puzzle, and getting them a little bit of time together, and, that kind of thing. It definitely helps you get set for the next year.
And that is all the questions. Thank you for taking your time out of the day and letting me interview you. Thank you.
Thank you, Remy.
Thank you.